Now here we go again. When we first came to Westminster on the 19th of November, I don't think the government knew what they'd hit them. You came again with your tractors in December, and we're here again today. The message is getting louder. The message is getting clearer. I just hope that the ears are listening, because at the moment they're really not acting. This is the purest form of democracy. A loud and clear demonstration, a legal protest. And I urge all of you to make sure that when you leave here, you do exactly as Liz said. We should never forget how lucky we are in this country to have a democracy. Many people around the world would give their right arm to have a democracy like we do. Those farmers in the Ukraine don't have this moment of opportunity. So let's use our voices. Let's make sure we stand loud and proud, and we make sure that those politicians hear every word that comes from here today. We have a voice, a loud voice, and I think the government are very clear. They've woken a sleeping giant. We have to keep the pressure up, and that's what you're all doing here today. And if the government thinks we'll go away, they don't understand you, they don't understand farming, and they don't understand farmers. As Liz has already said, we fight the elements, we fight the markets. All we want is to earn a fair crust from the food we're producing. The challenges are very real. We're not against paying the tax. We'd prefer to pay the tax from the food we produce rather than a death tax, which is simply unaffordable and unacceptable. The Office for Budget Responsibility agree with us. The supermarkets on this occasion agree with us. Even the Observer agrees with us. If the Chancellor is so confident her policy is right, why won't she meet with us to justify the policy? Even the Prime Minister has met. I was able to look him directly in the eye and spell out the awful, inhumane, unacceptable impacts of this policy. Why won't the Chancellor meet? For her, the family farm tax is policy. But for me and for you, it's personal. This week is Yellow Wellies Mind Your Head Week. We all know the untold pressure this is having on our farmers and our farming communities across the country. Can I urge you one more time, on your way home from London, when you're back on your farms tomorrow, pick up that phone to a neighbour that you haven't spoken to for a while, or somebody that you haven't seen. We can't let people suffer in silence. We must be there for each other. As President of the National Farmers Union, representing 70% of English and Welsh farming, I've received hundreds of emails, messages about the impacts of this tax. The human impact of this policy is simply unacceptable. It's also economically unacceptable. Economist after economist has turned against the policy. And let's be very clear here today, 75% of farmers producing this country's food will be impacted by the proposed changes to inheritance tax. That's 75% of businesses that will no longer invest for our future, that won't build the resilience that delivers food security. And when the government are sitting there saying that food security is national security, they're sitting there saying they need economic growth, and they're doing everything they can to stop you investing in the future of your businesses. That is simply wrong. They say the policy is well considered, but how can it be well considered when it has that economic impact, the human impact, and the pressure it puts on the farming community? It undermines food security at a time of global insecurity, and it is wrong on so many levels. I've been in Parliament this morning with Labour MPs. We'll be back in Parliament this afternoon, seeing more MPs. We've met over 400 MPs since the 30th of October. The pressure out here creates the pressure in there that we all need to work together. And we should celebrate a united industry, standing here, putting our best foot forward to try and get the changes that we need and to try and get the voices of farming heard. We've had over 145,000 members of the public sign the official petition. Over 275,000 members of the public signed the NFU petition. Public support and a united industry is what will put the pressure on our politicians. And we must think about that as we decide on the next steps that anybody is planning on taking as we continue to build the pressure through this campaign. We must keep the public on side at every step that we take. We cannot and we will not take their support for granted, and it's absolutely essential that every one of us here takes that responsibility seriously. Whether you're an NFU member or not, every meeting we go into, every meeting I go into, stood here with the presidents of Ulster, Scotland and Wales. We carry your weight on our shoulders. We take you into those rooms with us, and we will fight every day until we get the outcome that we need that mitigates the disastrous impact of the proposals that we've seen in the budget. And we recognise that the challenges go far wider than inheritance tax. But the one change that Sir Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves can make today that make this better is to consult or stop the proposals around inheritance tax. And we will continue to fight that until they finally listen. Thank you very much for your support. We'll continue to fight on your behalf. Thank you.